My wife, I call her the boss, and I, Stephanie is her name, have started a podcast. It's called the Haunting or Not Podcast, or to be exact, Haunting or Not, Ghost Stories, Real or Fake. You can find it wherever podcasts are served, or just go to jefepods.com. That's spelled Jefe pods.com. In this special episode of the Law Enforcement Talk radio show and podcast, you'll get a sampling of what it's all about. I'll give you a hint. It's not as serious as you might think. Welcome to the Law Enforcement Talk radio show. In the Law Enforcement Talk radio show, we are joined by special guests talking about their experiences, the realities of investigating crimes, plus those who have experienced horrendous trauma. Police, first responders, military, and victims of crime share their stories. Hi, I'm Jay Wiley. In addition to being a broadcaster, I'm also a retired police sergeant. Be sure to check out our website, letradio.com, and also like us on Facebook. Search for the Law Enforcement Talk radio show. Welcome to the Haunting or Not podcast, a show that takes an interesting and some would say different approach to explaining hauntings, the paranormal, demonic forces. Are they real hauntings or not? Hi, my name's Jay Wiley. In addition to being a radio host, I'm a retired police sergeant, and I take an evidence-based approach to these stories.
And I'm Stephanie Wiley. Yes, we're married and have been for a long time. Some would say that I am more, of the little touchy-feely type. Together, we present haunting or not stories that differ from the majority of other podcasts out there.
We are proud to be a show on the Boss Pods Network, a division of Glades Media. Be sure to follow us on Facebook. Look for Haunting or Not. And welcome to the introduction of the Haunting or Not podcast. As it said in the intro, my name's Jay Wiley, joined by
Stephanie Wiley.
My beautiful wife, or as I call her, the boss in all things.
You.
Radio and, most importantly, in our personal lives as well. The boss part.
You
looked at me like I had 5 heads.
Because you do have 5 heads.
Before we get into what the show's about, I only have 1 head, and it's a very ugly head. This is something I've wanted to do for at least 2 years.
You have talked about it quite a while.
And we have delayed it. We've delayed it. We've been busy with other projects. We have my nationally syndicated radio show called Law Enforcement Today, which started as a podcast. It's still a great podcast. It does really well. And by the way, it's free. Always has been, always will. So be sure to check it out. It's syndicated via Talk Media Network, and we're on, I think, last count, 95 stations. So now we finally made time to do this show. And the reason why I thought the Haunting or Not podcast could be big, could be important, could be something different from what else does, because everybody else is either doing like the true crime aspect, this is why it's so false,
yes,
or it's absolute truth.
Well, which is it?
And I think each case needs to stand on its merits. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about each case. And we're going to start with some of the really famous cases that we hear about. Some that have been made into movies, made into books, those sorts of things. Some of them are based on true stories. And when I say true, I'm air quoting, because what do we say when it's
what
TV?
What is true, right?
Yeah, just because they say it's true doesn't mean it's factually true.
See, that's the key.
It means they'll say it's based on true story.
Exactly. It's that keyword based.
Right. What's one of the things we used to say, that show we used to watch, Fargo? They'd say, this is based on a true story.
Oh, I forgot how it was worded perfectly,
right,
but it was so funny.
And we're like, but they made it clear. It's true, but it's not facts.
But if you read it too fast, you think it is a true story.
Well, that's what we want to do. See, here's my personal opinion. I want to talk to you about this. I think there are hauntings out there.
Oh, there are.
I think the vast majority are overstated. They don't really exist. Some are played out for a lot of different reasons, but I don't believe all of them are malevolent. I don't believe all of them are evil.
Well, I don't believe that all of them are, but I definitely think that there are more than you believe. For sure.
I think there's a lot less than what you
believe. I think there's a lot more.
Here's one thing I think you might be kind of shocked about. I believe there are more demonic possessions than there are hauntings from human spirits.
No.
I do.
No,
I do, and we'll talk about that at length. Here's a scenario I want to throw to you. We're going to talk about a story later on that actually occurred to us. And you didn't feel it, but I did.
Yes.
And then we take where we live, and there have been reports of eerie sounds. Mm-hmm. There have been reports where I swear an animal touched my leg. There wasn't one there.
No, there wasn't.
And we have lots of dogs and cats.
Yes.
So the question is, are all hauntings of the human spirit, are some of them feline or canine?
Oh, I definitely think so.
Right. That's what we're going to talk about. And we want to take apart these stories and say, which part of this is true? And you get to be the judge. It's not what we think.
Well, that's it. Everybody has their own perception. I believe, anyway, that most of them are true. And
they're all true because why would they put it on the news? Why would Hollywood make a movie out of it? Because Hollywood wants to make a profit.
well, is that the old saying, hey, I read it online, so it has to be true?
Here's an example. The movie and the book, The Exorcist. The book was written by, I believe, Peter Blatty. I can't remember who did the movie. I was a young teenager when that came out.
That's a long time ago.
And you think it's fictional. But you know it's based off of true stories.
Yes, it is
Now,
real.
the Hollywood version certainly dramatized a lot, certainly created stuff.
Well, I think Hollywood has to make it a little bit more elaborate.
That we talk about other ones like the Amityville Horror.
Yes.
And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, did I even watch that movie ever? I don't remember.
I know that I watched it.
Who started it?
I think it's one of the guys that was in Jaws.
Was
Wasn't it?
it? I thought it was Josh Brolin for some reason.
I'm not sure.
The podcast, Haunting or Not, the podcast, is we're going to present stories to you. We're going to look at all sides of it. We may do 3-4 episodes on one story. We might do one story in one episode. You just never know. Here's what we plan for this show. And granted, over time, it's going to evolve. It's going to change. There's going to be pivots. There's going to be guest calling. There'll be all kinds of things. We want each episode to be about 20 to 30 minutes long. No longer than that. So sometimes the story's going to take 3 or 4 episodes.
Well, sure. It depends on what's going on with the spirits.
And sometimes we might disagree.
That never happens.
Well, it does happen. Here's the reality. We've been married a long time.
We have different opinions.
I'm always wrong.
Sometimes you are always wrong.
What we want to do is present these stories in a way that you can consume them and you get to be the judge. Having said that, let's tell people a little bit about us. What makes us different? You. We'll start with you. What makes you different? You've been in radio a while, off and on.
That's right. We used to do a morning show.
Right.
We did that. Did some voiceovers as well for radio. You might think that I might be an animal lover. Yes.
Well, you definitely are an animal lover.
Yes. I have been doing rescue for decades, in fact. I hate to give my age out that quickly, but yes. I'm a big animal lover, been into rescue. You also are an animal lover. That was one thing that
but I'm at a different level.
I think
you're like up there, and I'm doing hand signals. So she's way up here when it comes to animal stuff, and I'm down here. So like I'm at armpit level while she's up at the basketball rim level.
You're reaching towards the ceiling.
Yes.
That's what you're doing right now.
So we're at different stratospheres.
I do prefer animals to people.
We own a Rottweiler. Mm-hmm. His name's Doc. We have 2 rescue cats that live with us inside the house.
Yes.
We have 2 rescue cats outdoors that we feed every day. We also have a couple other neighborhood cats.
They come and find me. I think they get together and they all talk.
The raccoons and the possums eat the cat food that Stephanie leaves out. So that gives you an idea what she's all about. And I would like to think that I'm a kinder, softer, gentler person than I used to be 20, 30 years ago.
You are. You definitely are. You're getting there. You have a little bit more work to do, but you definitely are.
Age has a way of doing that, softening the hard edges.
And it's being around me and the animals.
So we're not experts. We don't pretend to be experts. We're not playing experts on the radio. And here's one of the things that we like to do. We're not going to have all this fancy equipment. We're not going to go into a room with the electromagnetic pulse
and
thermometer
check the
readings.
temperature of it.
Right, which no one has.
No, it's just telling what happened, what do you think, and what do you believe?
That's a good explanation of Haunting or Not podcast. What separates us? Number 1, you. And we're going to present the stories in a way that you get to decide.
Exactly. We're not going to tell you this is what happens. This is what happened, and you decide what was it.
You know what I like the most about this, Stephanie?
Tell me.
Is we're not experts and we don't pretend to be experts.
Well, I like when you don't pretend to be an expert.
So many people think they are an expert and they have an expertise they want to enlighten people with.
I know how much you love that.
That is not us. That is the introduction for Haunting or Not podcast. We will have episodes coming to you about every 2 weeks, and then we might expand into every week. You never know. Thank you for joining us on the Haunting or Not podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a huge favor. Tell a friend or two or three. Remember to follow us on Facebook. Keep track of what's going on, upcoming episodes, past episodes, and more. On Facebook, look for Haunting or Not. We'll be back in just a few days with a new episode. Until then, see ya.